Hello, hello. Welcome. This is Phil Calzadilla, founder and CEO of NextNet Partners, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Next Generation Tech Talks.
I am not Jasmine, I am Aladdin. So far ahead, these bums is lagging. See me in that new thing, bums is
I always learn something
like
from folks picking their own music at the beginning of these podcasts, so I love it. But we have our own Aladdin. He's a magician with unified collaboration, unified communications. He's our director of collaboration, Mr. Ken Reeves.
Hello.
Welcome,
Thanks.
Ken.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here today, bud. So, Ken, there are some exciting things happening in collaboration right now. And one of them I know that you want to talk about today is Cisco Spark.
Yeah, absolutely. So Cisco Spark has been around for a little while. It's been known as some other things as Squared, Project Squared, and some other things. But they have really made some leaps and bounds in it lately, and now it's a complete cloud-based business collaboration service where it enables message, meet, and call from anyone, anywhere, at any time. So a lot of big advances in it.
That's great. And so why is this important to clients? I mean, what should we be talking about with them, and what do they care about on this?
The big thing is, the business as we know it has changed. The days of sitting at your desk tied to your desk phone and tied to email are gone. The new generation of workers, the kids today have changed the way that we operate already. So no longer are we making phone calls. We're starting with text messages and IM messages, and we're escalating directly to video calls and content sharing. And Spark is actually built all around that. So Spark is built from the ground up to help you escalate from instant messaging to meeting to voice calls to video calls. So it's the speed of business, and the speed of business has changed forever, and Cisco Spark is there to help with it.
Nice. Absolutely. It's so funny. If anyone out there, if you've got kids, you know exactly what we're talking about here, right? They are text messaging each other. They use FaceTime I don't even understand it.
They don't make phone calls. You have to call them. But
yes.
Yeah, it's text message to FaceTime.
To FaceTime. Yeah, it's I have an 11-year-old daughter, and her girlfriends all have iPhones now, which is shocking to me too. But and they're FaceTiming each other constantly, and they may not even be talking. They're just looking at things together or spending time, but that's
Absolutely.
how they're spending time. It's amazing to me. And you're right, that has changed the way we work. I know for me, sometimes it's easier and faster to get a response from me if you text me with the issue, right?
Absolutely. And that's one of the big things that Sparks helps out with is messaging. So, everyone's got email, everyone still looks at their email, but it takes a long time for people to respond to email. Yeah. And nowadays people just don't want to wait. They want to escalate quickly. So, if you're sitting on your cell phone, the same as texting. That's one of the applications that Spark has, is the built-in application for your phone. So you can immediately message them or meet them in a room and escalate from there.
Yeah, go right to video, go to a WebEx, go share whatever, right?
Absolutely. Share content, pictures, video, anything.
So, some folks may have the same question, and we have Jabber and we have Spark at NextNet Partners. But, tell me, and I know the differences, but just kind of lay it out for folks. So what are the big differences between someone using Jabber today and Spark?
So the big difference is, Jabber, like Spark, is an application, so it has instant messaging, and you can escalate to a shared meeting and voice and video. The difference is Jabber relies on other platforms, relies on a call manager for the voice call, relies on the IMP server for messaging, relies on WebEx. Spark is kind of built from the ground up to support all of those. So it's already built in. So there is actually an application that is running a phone service in the background. Now you can do Spark in the cloud. You could do the call aspect of Spark in the cloud, but you could also do it on your on-premise as well. But there is a built-in application where you can do the Spark voice, and it's already out there, so you don't have to build anything else.
Got it.
And so it works the same way with the escalation. The big difference between Spark and Jabber is, unlike Jabber, if you don't have the application running, Spark will still alert you that someone's trying to message you or call you. So it runs in the background just like a lot of the Apple applications. But unlike Jabber, if you're not logged on, you're not getting that message. Spark,
that's a big difference.
It is,
especially in today's mobile world.
Exactly what we're talking about. Where you want to, you need to talk to someone immediately. You want to find somebody. you're going to find them with Spark. It's going to alert them and give you that message. Where Jabber, you have to have the application running.
Makes total sense. So, and that happens to me now because, I don't log into Jabber every time, and I don't even log into Spark, on my mobile phone at the beginning of the day or anything like that. But all of a sudden I see my Spark calls are coming in and my Spark messages are coming in. Another big thing is the concept of this rooms, right?
Yeah. So the rooms are again, as we're talking about, you can escalate to one-to-one meetings. So you can create a room for just you and someone else and chat independently. You can have a group meeting, which creates rooms. So after you get done with a WebEx, or if you just want to escalate from a chat to a meeting, the idea is that you can store. You have a single pane where all of the existing communication has already happened. So instead of reading through an email to see who's replied, who's seen it, you actually have in these rooms, you can actually see when someone's added to the room, when they responded to it, who saw the message, who didn't, and you can have it track that way in a single pane instead of having to dive through email messages.
Yeah, which is so much more just efficient, and we use Spark ourselves, and obviously so does Cisco. And I know that, like, for example, I'm on the Cisco partner advisory board, and we have our channels team and everything else, and we have rooms set up there where, so myself and other partners across the country that are on the partner board, as well as the executives from Cisco that are on that board, are all in our partner advisory board room. And so if they want to tell us something or they want to run something by us, they just post it to the room. We get notified. We go into the room, and then we can make comments. We can see each other's comments. We can add more content. Right?
And that content is, limitless because it's in Cisco's cloud. Partners or customers aren't using their own Exchange resources to store those files. So if I send you a 5 meg email, and most people have caps on the size of emails they can send, but if I send you a 5 meg email, if I send you a 20 meg video, you could post that in there, and it's one 20 meg video. It's not 20 times 50 for everyone, and not everyone's mailbox is filling up. So
yeah. That's actually happened to me.
Oh, yeah.
Because I tried to email something. I didn't realize how big the email was. It was like,
I think ours is set to 6, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like 170 meg email or something like that. It was a video, obviously. And then I just go ahead and post in the Spark room, and it goes to the whole company, and they can see the video. It's cool because we've used it also. We just moved. I think a lot of folks know that. If you're attached at all with us on Facebook or Twitter, you'll see that we moved. We have a new location we're real excited about. But during that move, we created a room so that the whole company could talk about, hey, what kind of things do you want to have in the new offices? Here's some of the designs we're running with. Here's some of the artwork we're looking at. Here's some of the the stenciling we're putting in on the glass, right? And so everybody can give us their thoughts, and we can get feedback. And it's almost like a water cooler room for us.
It is definitely meant for project based, right? So move to a new office is a project. Starting a new consulting business is a project. Even standard PMOs. Opening a new office, anything is considered a project. Some of the other things that people have been using for is new hires. So when videos from the CEO as part of the new hire, all the we actually did that when we changed our benefits, the healthcare benefits. We put all that stuff out in Spark so people can review it and have we actually did the WebEx meeting as well and recorded that and put that out to Spark. So it's a great retention and history and transparency. So you know exactly when things happened. And why they happened and who saw them. So,
do we replace Jabber with Spark? Can you, or what's the kind of process?
So there is, I don't want to scare anybody. There is still room for Jabber, but the way that I see it going down is Spark will eventually replace Jabber altogether.
Yeah, it seems that way. Right?
It really is, and that's one of the things. One of the new things that they came out with Spark. Because Spark has had a kind of a slow rollout until when it was back and called Project Square. But that is one of the new things is the this messaging and the escalation to voice. So I can definitely see where you may still have the Jabber application, but the instant messaging may work off Spark. And there's just some customers that that may today may be deemed too big for the cloud for bandwidth concerns, so they may want or their government entity and they want instant messaging on prem. They don't want stuff like that in the cloud, so it will be around. but it's definitely the trend moving towards Spark.
That's great. And then some of the beauties of Spark, right, is that it's completely integrated into the Cisco network that you've invested in as a company or an enterprise today.
Yeah,
it's completely secure, right? So
yeah, and that's one of the things is it's new customers, new companies, especially new customers to Cisco. Spark is definitely the way to go. It's seamless. It's a quick build. Provisioning time is way faster.
Right.
But if you're an existing customer, we've got clients that 15, 20,000 phones. They don't want to migrate all those users to Spark. They can use their existing infrastructure that they've already paid for. They can use their communications manager. They can use their telepresence system and just integrate it with Spark.
Nice. Without having a forklift anything.
Nope, without having a forklift anything. And
great.
Could make it a much easier transition to cloud if they do decide to go cloud at some point. But, you just got done paying, money to go on-prem. It's, you got to take your time and utilize that capital that you've already spent.
Sure. Makes total sense. I love you can hear it in Ken's voice. Like he understands. He has sat in the client chair before where he's had to have those decisions with executives, right? How do I use my capital Absolutely. And where do I invest and,
Absolutely.
And justify all this. So, from a problem solving perspective, because I really try to get to, hey, what problem does this solve, right? It really, I think of it, it's like, it keeps everything from being a mess and being all over the place, right? Is this an email? I got this in Jabbar.
The big one is escalation. Technically may not be considered a problem, but speed is a problem for some customers, right? There's been all kinds of studies, and you've talked about it. There's been all kinds of studies that say within 10 years, 40% of the current Fortune 500 companies are going to be non-existent.
That's right.
Because they're not fast. They are set in their ways. They're not reliable. They're not, I shouldn't say reliable. They're not fast. They're not agile.
Sure.
But that's the biggest thing that it's going to do is it's going to get you fast and agile. You're going to, the quicker that you can collaborate on things, the quicker you can resolve things, and the quicker you can go to market with your product. So that's the number one thing. On the IT side, what IT managers want it is, cost of ownership, right?
Right.
So it's a cloud-based application, so you're not going to have to spend a lot on infrastructure. It's very quick and easy to deploy, so it's not, you're not going to spend, 200, 400 hours deploying it. It's much faster. And then provisioning's faster. So unlike the old days, especially when you integrate the voice piece, like the old days where you had to go get the MAC address first and then pre-program everything, you basically take any phone and you either scan a barcode or enter the 16-digit number, and it just programs that phone. So provisioning is way faster. So instead of, taking the time for, set up a user with, WebEx, what was Jabber, and, instant messaging,
WebEx,
voice, telepresence, all
right.
that stuff, instead of taking, an hour or two, you're talking about 15 minutes to set everyone up.
That's great. Yeah, and this is across industries. There's no one industry, well, these guys need it. It really goes across. If you have people that communicate, and you've got people that are carrying around mobile devices, and
everyone, no matter what industry you're in, you have to communicate and collaborate.
That's right.
And you have to work with other people. There's no one who's developing anything on their own, so you have to collaborate with other people, and this is the tool that's going to help you do it quicker.
It's great. And, and we know a lot of our clients as well as partners and everybody, they all have these digital transformation platforms or initiatives that they're trying to build and they're trying to move towards, because they know that, in the words of Mark Andreessen, software is eating the world, right?
Yep.
And so, to do that, to become that fast, agile, collaborative company, you've got to go ahead and do this digital transformation, right? You've got to have some type of that, and this is really something that can help companies because it'll move them fast down the collaboration route. So very exciting, Ken. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
For all of you out there, thank you for listening again. I hope that we are giving you useful content. We would love your feedback on our content, so please let us know either using a Facebook comment, shoot us an email at info@nextnetpartners.com. You can find out more about what we're doing at nextnetpartners.com. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Real simple. You look up NextNet Partners on Google, you're going to find all ways to get us. So, thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll catch you next time.
I'm starting to feel like a dungeon dragon. Raw, like a dungeon dragon. I'm starting to feel like a dungeon dragon. Look at my show footage, how these girls be spazzing. So fuck all